great to have King's Table on again. Yeah, I mean, I had the privilege of being able to speak at the last one last year and the first one this year.
Yeah.
So we're kind of making a transition. Okay, anybody here for the first time at a King's Table dinner or luncheon? Just pop up your hand so we can welcome you. Everybody else, everybody's been here before? Or no, one, two, couple of people maybe? All right. Well, that means everybody else has come back. That's always a good sign. I always say that the first time is good, the second time is better. Because the second time means that something happened to you the first time. So if something happens to you today, make sure you come back on Sunday morning, won't you? All right. My wife and I pioneered churches over a number of years now. And the very first church we pioneered was in Ipswich, just 40 kilometres away. And one of the things that I did, I think I was about 25 at the time, is every Thursday night I would go out onto the streets during the late night shopping and meet with people and talk with people. And well, in 40 years of being on the streets, both in street meetings and personal sharing, I've only been beaten up once. I mean, I was beaten up on the streets of Ipswich.
Oh, really?
Yep, and it was a 16-year-old girl that did it, I must admit.
Yeah.
And I saw this young guy sitting on a bench out front of the post office, so I sat down next to him and started talking. And he was really touched. I mean, he was really into this conversation when suddenly his girlfriend turned up and saw that he was really coming my way. And so she got so upset, there was just fire in her eyes, and I was sitting down, she was standing, and she started beating me with both fists. The problem was that she had rings on her fingers, and she cut me up pretty badly. And so when I got home, then he said, "What happened to you?" And I said, "Well, you know, I got beaten up by a 16-year-old, you know, girl." And 2 days later, I had a water baptism service to run, and so everybody said, "What's happened to you?" He said, so I'm not terribly proud of that. But it was one particular Thursday night, I was on the streets, and I met a truck driver, and I got talking to him. And I asked him a question. I said, "Do you believe in God?" And he said, "No, I don't." And he said, "Do you?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And he said to me, "Well, you must be pretty weak in your mind." And I thought, I don't like backing off that sort of thing. So I said, "Well, you know, I can't really say I have to believe in God now because I've actually experienced God and I know God personally." He looked at me, he said, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life." And I thought, right, I better quit while I'm ahead. And that was the end of the conversation.